You know that feeling when you feel spiritually, stuck? Kind of like you're just taking things in, but nothing is really flowing out? Well, today we're diving into a devotional text that gets right to the heart of that. It gives us this incredible picture for what a vibrant life of faith can look like. Your life is a fountain of living water.
And it all kicks off with this really radical idea from the Gospel of John. The text we're looking at today uses this verse as a total launchpad. See, the argument is that a believer isn't meant to be just a container, but a conduit. Something powerful is literally designed to flow out of you.
All right, so let's get into the core concept. The source text starts by laying out this amazing design for your life. And it's a huge shift in perspective, really. It's not about what you can get, it's all about what you can give.
And here it is, the central metaphor. The author says the ideal life isn't supposed to be like a quiet, still pond. Nope, it's meant to be a dynamic, active fountain. Think about it, constantly giving, always moving, and bringing life and refreshment to everything and everyone around it.
But, of course, the author points out a really common problem, a pitfall we can all fall into. If the goal is to be this active fountain, what's the opposite? Well, it's becoming a passive lake.
And this comparison really draws a line in the sand between two totally different ways of living. The lake mindset, it's passive. It just gathers and receives. It tends to focus on all the problems, and it just holds everything in. But the fountain, that's active. It proclaims, it blesses, and its whole purpose is to flow outward. The author makes it super clear. This outward flow is how we're designed to be.
Okay, so the big question is, right? If you find yourself being more of a lake, how do you make that shift to becoming a fountain? Well, the great thing is, this devotional doesn't just leave us with a nice idea. It gives us the actual how-to, a specific way to make this transformation happen. And this next part is absolutely crucial. The author defines these rivers of living water very specifically. It's not just a nice feeling or some vague spiritual vibe. Nope, it's something tangible, something vocal. It's prophetic words of power and blessings that literally come out of you.
And right here, this is the main event. The key that unlocks everything, the thing that activates the fountain and starts shaping your future is prophecy. And just to be clear, in this context, prophecy means actively speaking and declaring God's promises over every single part of your life.
So, to really drive home just how powerful this idea of speaking things into reality is, the author takes us to this wild, dramatic story from the book of Ezekiel in the Old Testament. Seriously, try to picture this. The prophet Ezekiel is standing in a valley that's just full of dry, dead bones. And God's instruction is fascinating. He doesn't tell him to pray about the bones. He commands him to speak directly to the bones, to prophesy to the problem face to face.
So what's the result of this direct spoken command? An absolutely impossible promise of new life. The author uses this story to lay down a really clear principle for us. When we speak prophetically, it can lead to miraculous change. This is the model.
So, that's a cool story, but how do we actually apply this ancient principle today, right? Well, the author doesn't just leave it as a cool story. The text gets super practical with direct instructions for us.
And when I say specific, I mean really specific. The instruction is to prophesy over every single part of your life. We're not just talking about the big things, like your future or your job. The author says to go deeper, speak to your health, your body, even your bones, your skin, your blood. It's all about taking active, vocal authority over everything. I think this next quote just sums up the entire call to action perfectly. It's a challenge to stop passively waiting for the world to decide your fate, and instead to start actively using your words to shape your own reality based on God's promises.
Okay. So as we start to land the plane here, it's important to note that this devotional doesn't just give you a command and leave you hanging. It equips you. The author wraps up by laying out the exact tools you have to make this whole transformation a reality.
And you know what? The toolkit is actually pretty simple. According to the author, you've been given 3 key things to work with. First, you have His Word. That's the substance. Second, you have the Spirit. That's your guidance. And third, you have your mouth. That's the instrument you use to release the power.
And so, this entire idea, this whole devotional, really boils down to one powerful personal challenge. It leaves us all with a direct question to think about. If it's true, if your words really do hold the key to unlocking that fountain inside of you, what are you going to declare today?